You won't believe what Jaguar Wright just revealed, and it's sending shockwaves through the hip-hop world. Kanye West, yes, the same Kanye who's dominated music, fashion, and headlines for years, reportedly recovering from a coma, but the story doesn't stop there. Jaguar Wright didn't just give an update, she named the person allegedly responsible for putting him in danger. That revelation alone is enough to make anyone stop scrolling, but the ripple effect is even bigger. And just when you thought things couldn't get wilder, Hughley drops another bombshell, claiming that Jay-Z is on the run. That's right. One of the most influential figures in hip-hop, the mogul behind Roc Nation, being called out publicly like this. What's going on behind the scenes? Are these isolated incidents, or is something bigger brewing in the shadows of the music industry? Fans are already losing their minds. Social media is exploding with debates, reactions, and theories. Everyone wants answers. Who is responsible for Kanye's coma? How serious is Jay-Z's situation? And how does Jaguar Wright even know these details? This isn't just gossip. This isn't just entertainment. This is power, influence, betrayal, and danger colliding in real time, and the implications could change everything we think we know about the biggest names in music. Stay tuned, because the next moves could blow the lid off this story entirely. As Jaguar Wright revealed the details about Kanye's coma recovery, the atmosphere in hip-hop went from tense to explosive. People weren't just reacting to the fact that Kanye was recovering, they were shocked by who she claimed was behind it. The audacity, the secrecy, the potential betrayal, all of it created a wildfire that spread across social media within minutes. Fans were dissecting every word, replaying clips, and debating what was true and what might be exaggeration. But the story gets even deeper. Hughley's statement about Jay-Z being on the run wasn't just casual commentary. It carried weight, context, and history. In an industry where reputation and influence are everything, such claims can send shockwaves. People immediately started asking, is this about business, personal conflict, or something far darker simmering behind the scenes? And when you consider Kanye's coma and Jaguar Wright's explosive reveal, the pieces of this puzzle start to feel connected in ways most fans can't even imagine. Jaguar Wright didn't mince words. She described the events with clarity, citing names and details that made the situation feel imminent, personal, and dangerous. Her revelations were shocking not just for the drama, but because they broke the silence around something the public had no idea was happening behind the curtain. In the past, we've seen celebrities face health scares, industry betrayals, and public scandals, but this wasn't just another headline. It felt alive, urgent, and very real. Fans online immediately began speculating. Who would benefit from Kanye being incapacitated? Why would Jay-Z be on the run? And what role does fame, power, and influence play in protecting or putting people at risk? These are questions no one could answer fully, yet the tension alone drove millions of eyes toward every clip, post, and story surrounding the situation. Social media went into overdrive. Twitter threads exploded with theories, Instagram stories dissected every statement, and YouTube commentators were already preparing to break down every word frame by frame. Every fan, every influencer, every insider had an opinion, and the frenzy only intensified because the story touched multiple levels of hip-hop culture: celebrity, loyalty, betrayal, and survival. And just when the conversation seemed like it might settle, Hughley's comments about Jay-Z added another layer. Suddenly, it wasn't just Kanye's recovery making waves, it was a potential crisis in the foundation of hip-hop's most powerful empire. The idea of Jay-Z, someone who's built an unparalleled career through strategy, connections, and influence, being described as on the run sent shivers down fans' spines. Jaguar Wright's perspective gave the story a personal angle, too. She painted a picture of events that most fans only see as headlines. She described the fear, the secrecy, and the urgency surrounding Kanye's coma recovery, showing how fragile even the biggest stars can be when power, jealousy, and betrayal collide behind closed doors. Her narrative humanized the chaos while still keeping the high-stakes tension intact. The wildest part? The timing. Everything unfolded during a period where Kanye was already in the spotlight. His projects, public appearances, and industry influence were being scrutinized constantly. For Jaguar Wright to reveal who she alleges poisoned him was like lighting a fuse. It wasn't just news, it was an ignition point, one that could ripple through the industry in unpredictable ways. Fans and insiders alike began connecting dots. Social media analysts started mapping relationships between Kanye, Jay-Z, and those Jaguar names. They looked at past collaborations, rivalries, and industry feuds. Suddenly, what seemed like an isolated incident now looked like a chessboard of power plays, moves, and consequences stretching across years of music, fame, and influence. And the controversy doesn't stop there. When you consider DL Hughley's comments, the narrative takes another sharp turn. Calling Jay-Z on the run is dramatic, but it also raises questions about accountability, pressure, and legacy. Jay-Z isn't just any artist. He's a mogul whose every move affects the industry and the people around him. For someone like Hughley to make that claim publicly is an escalation that fans cannot ignore. As the story unfolded, one thing became clear: this wasn't just celebrity gossip. This was a multi-layered saga of danger, power, and survival, and Jaguar Wright had dropped a bombshell at the center of it. Fans started debating, was Kanye targeted? Is Jay-Z facing repercussions? How much of this is personal versus professional? Every question led to another, and each one intensified the tension. And let's not forget the emotional element. Kanye's fans have followed his highs and lows for years. From music triumphs to personal struggles, every revelation about his health hits hard. The idea that he was in a coma and that someone might have had a hand in it felt like a direct violation of trust and safety, which made Jaguar Wright's revelations even more explosive. From YouTube commentators to hip-hop insiders, everyone jumped in. The story became viral in minutes, trending across platforms as more people shared clips, highlights, and reactions. Each retelling magnified the drama. Each post added context, speculation, or outrage. And in the middle of it all, the key figures Kanye, Jay-Z, Jaguar Wright, and even DL Hughley remained central, their reputations and influence driving the conversation forward. What makes this story unique is the combination of health, betrayal, and insider knowledge. Most celebrity controversies focus on drama or relationships. This one mixes life-threatening danger, industry power struggles, and public speculation, creating a narrative that is both emotional and strategic. Fans aren't just reacting to gossip, they're trying to piece together a story that feels bigger than any one post or clip. And while social media exploded, one thing became certain: the story was far from over. Every new detail could shift public perception. Every clarification or denial could ignite further debate. Jaguar Wright's revelations weren't the ending, they were the opening act of a saga that would keep fans, influencers, and insiders talking for weeks. Now the stage is set. The conversation about Kanye, Jay-Z, and Jaguar Wright is no longer confined to a single platform or post. It's everywhere, dominating headlines, comments, and timelines. And as tension continues to build, the only certainty is that the drama will keep unfolding, with each revelation raising the stakes even higher. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the people involved, the motivations behind these shocking claims, and the reactions from the hip-hop world, because the story is just getting started. The tension surrounding Kanye's coma recovery and DL Hughley's shocking comment about Jay-Z was only intensifying. But here's where it gets even more intricate. Jaguar Wright didn't just reveal the shocking fact about Kanye's recovery, she claimed to know the person allegedly responsible for poisoning him. That detail alone set off a wave of speculation across social media, forums, and hip-hop blogs. Everyone wanted answers. And when you consider the timing, the situation starts to feel like a high-stakes chess match, where every word, post, and comment can shift the narrative dramatically. Fans immediately began dissecting her statements. Who could possibly have the motive? How much of what she said is credible? In an industry where power, influence, and reputation intertwine, even the hint of betrayal can ignite massive cultural debates. People weren't just reacting to the danger Kanye faced, They were digging into the implications, connecting dots from his past controversies, feuds, and alliances. And every mention of Jay-Z being on the run added another layer of urgency and intrigue. Social media became a battlefield overnight. Clips of Jaguar Wright's interview were shared thousands of times. Twitter threads speculated on motives. Instagram and TikTok creators broke down every nuance, from her tone to the pauses, the emphasis, and even the background context. Every move she made was analyzed, reanalyzed, and dissected frame by frame. The internet was alive with tension, as if the story was unfolding in real time before millions of eyes. Hughley's comment about Jay-Z being on the run added yet another twist. This wasn't a random soundbite, it carried historical weight, considering Jay-Z's position as a mogul who built an empire over decades. Fans immediately speculated, is this about legal pressure, personal conflicts, or business rivalry? And as always in hip-hop, every claim carries the risk of sparking new disputes or reigniting old ones. Jaguar Wright's insight gave the narrative a human and emotional dimension. Kanye, despite his global fame and influence, was portrayed as vulnerable, caught in a situation that involved power struggles, betrayal, and danger. It reminded fans that even the most prominent figures are not immune to threats, whether from the industry, the streets, or unseen forces. Her revelation didn't just shock, it personalized the drama, making it feel immediate and urgent. The implications for Jay-Z were significant. Being described as on the run is not a minor statement. It suggests pressure, vulnerability, and a crack in the armor of one of hip-hop's most untouchable figures. Fans began tracing Jay-Z's recent activities, scrutinizing public appearances, business moves, and partnerships. Every detail was analyzed for hints that could confirm or contradict Hughley's statement. And just like that, a single comment escalated the tension across the culture. Behind the scenes, insiders began weighing in. Some suggested that Jaguar Wright has historically been close to certain circles, giving her statements more credibility. Others cautioned against taking the claims at face value, reminding fans that the world of celebrity news is rife with rumors and strategic leaks. Yet the explosive nature of the claim, naming a person allegedly responsible for Kanye's condition, made it impossible to ignore. The story demanded attention. As discussion spiraled, the focus on social media shifted to the interplay between loyalty, betrayal, and influence. Every comment was interpreted as a signal, every post analyzed for subtext. The culture became a live laboratory of speculation, a mix of fans, insiders, and commentators debating what's real, what's strategic, and what's performative. Each angle amplified the tension and raised the stakes even further. The real drama, however, was how these revelations intersected. Kanye's vulnerability, Jay-Z's supposed instability, and Jaguar Wright's insider knowledge created a perfect storm. It wasn't just celebrity news, it was a narrative about power, survival, and the fragility of influence in the hip-hop world. Fans couldn't simply scroll past. Every detail mattered, every claim required analysis, and every theory spread like wildfire. And then there's the human element. Kanye's fans reacted not only to the danger he faced, but to the idea that someone from within his world could have harmed him. That betrayal added emotional weight to the story. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's supporters questioned Hughley's claim, defending the mogul's legacy while acknowledging the high-pressure environment that even industry leaders navigate. Social media timelines became a battleground of opinions, loyalty, and speculation, drawing millions into the unfolding drama. It's important to understand the layered nature of this saga. Jaguar Wright isn't simply making claims. She's narrating a story that connects to years of history, relationships, and power dynamics. Hughley's statement isn't just commentary. It introduces a new variable that affects perception, trust, and credibility across the culture. And Kanye's recovery, at the heart of it all, reminds everyone how quickly fame and influence can collide with danger. The tension is compounded by timing. This story didn't break in a vacuum. It came at a moment when fans were already highly engaged with the personal and professional lives of these artists. Every detail about Kanye's health, Jay-Z's movements, and Jaguar Wright's insider knowledge becomes a piece of a larger puzzle. Social media users, commentators, and fans scramble to fit the pieces together, creating a feedback loop where speculation drives engagement and engagement fuels speculation. What makes this situation even more compelling is the strategy behind public statements. Jaguar Wright's revelations, Hughley's commentary, and the reactions they provoke are all part of a broader narrative, whether intentional or not. In the modern hip-hop landscape, information is power, and those who control the narrative can shift perception, influence trends, and even affect reputations. Fans watching this unfold are witnessing a masterclass in narrative dynamics, whether they realize it or not. Meanwhile, the story's cultural implications are huge. When figures like Kanye and Jay-Z are involved, the narrative isn't just about individual drama. It's about the larger ecosystem of hip-hop influence, legacy, and loyalty. Every statement, every revelation, and every reaction serves as a signal to fans and insiders alike, reinforcing the idea that in this world, everything is interconnected and nothing happens in isolation. The hip-hop world was buzzing like never before. Jaguar Wright's revelations about Kanye West's Coma recovery and the alleged person responsible had already sent shockwaves, while Hughley's claim that Jay-Z is on the run had layered in more tension. But the story wasn't just simmering, it was reaching a critical boiling point, where every player, fan, and commentator felt compelled to react. Immediately after the clips went viral, fans flooded social media with theories. Questions dominated timelines. Who is truly behind Kanye's alleged poisoning? How deep does this danger go? Is Jay-Z really facing threats or pressure that Hughley hinted at? Every post, every reaction, every meme fueled the narrative, escalating the tension beyond what anyone anticipated. Even longtime observers admitted this wasn't a normal celebrity controversy. It felt alive, urgent, and dangerous. Jaguar Wright's revelations weren't just shocking, they were strategically timed. By naming a specific person she claims was involved in Kanye's condition, she shifted the narrative from speculation to accusation. That single detail became the focal point for fans, insiders, and media alike. And in a world where reputation is everything, accusations carry real consequences, whether proven or not. Hughley's comment about Jay-Z compounded the drama. Calling a mogul like Jay-Z on the run is no casual remark. It implies vulnerability, pressure, and instability. Fans immediately began analyzing Jay-Z's every move. Appearances, collaborations, and public statements were dissected for hints of truth. Even minor actions were interpreted as confirmation or contradiction of Hughley's statement. In this environment, perception often becomes reality, and the mere suggestion of risk sends ripples across the industry. Meanwhile, Kanye's recovery remained at the center of the storm. Fans expressed both relief and fear. Relief that he was regaining strength, but fear over the alleged betrayal. The idea that someone close enough could harm one of music's biggest figures shook the fanbase to its core. Comments, threads, and reaction videos all emphasized the emotional weight of this revelation, proving that this wasn't just celebrity gossip, it was a narrative that touched on life, loyalty, and trust. As the tension escalated, the interplay between the key figures became even more apparent. Jaguar Wright emerged as both whistleblower and storyteller, delivering her account with precision, urgency, and credibility. Hughley functioned as a cultural commentator, adding layers of context and speculation. And in the middle of it all, Kanye and Jay-Z's responses, or lack thereof, became central to the narrative. Every delay, every silence, and every public appearance was analyzed for meaning. Fans began comparing this unfolding drama to classic hip-hop rivalries. Just as the early 2000s saw G-Unit, Dipset, and other crews exchanging high-stakes shots, the current scenario mirrored that intensity, but with modern amplification through social media. Clips circulated rapidly, memes emerged overnight, and commentators dissected every nuance of Jaguar Wright and Hughley's statements. The culture was witnessing history unfold in real time, complete with suspense, speculation, and outrage. Inside the industry, reactions were equally intense. Artists, managers, and insiders weighed in privately and publicly, trying to assess both credibility and impact. Every statement by Jaguar Wright or D.L. Hughley was evaluated for accuracy, intent, and consequence. Hip-hop circles debated whether this was a moment of truth, a strategic play, or a combination of both. And as speculation grew, the story began to dominate conversations far beyond music, touching business, influence, and personal relationships. What makes this saga even more compelling is the layered human drama. Kanye's vulnerability, the suggestion of betrayal, and Jay-Z's implied pressure all intersect to create tension on multiple levels: emotional, cultural, and professional. Fans feel a connection to these figures not just because of their music, but because their lives reflect stakes, struggles, and conflicts that are relatable, dramatic, and timeless. Jaguar Wright's strategy also became clear. She delivered information in a way that controlled the narrative while maximizing engagement. By revealing critical details without overexposing herself, she maintained credibility while ensuring the story dominated public discourse. D.L. Hughley's commentary, meanwhile, added a layer of interpretation, providing context and speculation that forced fans to engage even more. Together, their contributions created a perfect storm of drama, analysis, and controversy. As the story continued to circulate, Kanye's team and associates became a focal point. Every public statement, social media post, or appearance was scrutinized for consistency with Jaguar Wright's claims. Similarly, Jay-Z's empire, the people, projects, and partnerships surrounding him, was analyzed for signs of authenticity, vulnerability, or movement. In essence, the culture was dissecting every facet of these legends' lives to understand what was real and what was strategic. And yet, despite the chaos, one theme remained constant: loyalty, power, and legacy matter more than ever. Jaguar Wright's revelations challenged perceptions of trust and betrayal, while D.L. Hughley's commentary questioned influence and control. For fans, insiders, and even the artists themselves, this saga was more than entertainment. It was a lesson in how reputation, allegiance, and history intersect in the world of hip-hop. The stakes are clear. This story isn't over. Fans are waiting for Kanye or his team to respond, Jay-Z's actions to be revealed, and insiders to weigh in. Every next move carries potential to escalate, clarify, or complicate matters further. One social media post, one interview, or one public appearance could change the narrative entirely, and the culture is watching closely. Ultimately, what makes this saga unforgettable is its raw, unfiltered, and unpredictable nature. Jaguar Wright's revelations, D.L. Hughley's commentary, and the very human stakes of Kanye's health and Jay-Z's status combine to create a narrative that feels both immediate and historic. Hip-hop fans are not just spectators. They are participants in a drama that blends personal vulnerability, celebrity power, and cultural legacy in a way few stories ever have. The final takeaway? This isn't just a story about Kanye, Jay-Z, or even Jaguar Wright and D.L. Hughley. It's a snapshot of how influence, loyalty, and survival collide in one of the world's most visible and high-stakes industries. And as fans continue to analyze, debate, and anticipate the next revelation, one truth remains: in the world of hip-hop, nothing stays quiet for long, and every secret has the potential to explode. The saga continues, and everyone watching knows the next chapter could be even bigger, wilder, and more shocking than anything that's come before. Before you go, let me tell you, this story is far from over. Kanye's shocking recovery, Jaguar Wright dropping names, and D.L. Hughley calling out Jay-Z? That's only the beginning. The tension, the drama, and the stakes in the hip-hop world are through the roof right now, and every single detail matters. If you've been following this saga, you already know it's about more than gossip. It's about loyalty, power, betrayal, and survival in the game that shaped generations. And now, it's up to the fans to stay locked in, because the next post, the next interview, or the next move from Kanye, Jay-Z, or Jaguar Wright could flip the whole narrative overnight. So here's what you need to do. Hit that like button if you're shocked by these revelations, subscribe to stay updated on every explosive development, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know who you think is telling the truth, who's on top, and what the next moves will be. Share this video with someone who lives for hip-hop drama and history. Trust me, they're going to lose it over this. And if you really want to support the channel, smash that notification bell so you're the first to catch the updates, analyses, and behind-the-scenes breakdowns as this story unfolds. Every like, comment, and share helps us keep digging, breaking stories, and delivering the heat the culture deserves. Remember, this isn't just news, it's history in the making, and you don't want to miss a second of it. Stay tuned, because the next move could come at any moment, and when it does, we'll be right here breaking it down for you.